since 1969, there hasn't been a kid alive who hasn't at least heard of Big Bird, Elmo, and the Sesame Street Gang. It's defined generations of childhoods and even provided audience a service they weren't getting anywhere else. There's a good reason for Sesame Street's widespread popularity, and that's what I'm going to talk about today in my 100th video essay. To those of you who've been subscribed ever since I launched my channel in July 2021, thank you for supporting me, and I hope I've repaid you with enjoyable content from which you could learn. Those of you who are new, I'm Laura Youngblood, and welcome to my channel From Laura's Perspective. I post a new video essay 3 times a week in different series on a different topic, and yes, you heard it right earlier, this is my 100th one, excluding shorts, which means that although my channel's still developing, it's going strong and I deliver on my promises. But this video's not about me, it's about how Sesame Street has gone strong for 50 years and how it's delivered on its promises, so let's get started. When I say that Sesame Street revolutionized children's TV, that's a broad umbrella term that means a lot of different things. When it first debuted at the end of the 1960s, the trend of educational television programs aimed at preschoolers, which is so common today, was just in its infancy, and Sesame Street popularized it further with the way it combined content that was entertaining to young children with that which was educational. In fact, one of the main goals of the show's creators was to provide a supplemental educational resource for inner-city children whose parents often could not afford to put them in an adequate preschool. And after all this time, to say that this goal has been met is a pretty big understatement. The show catches children's attention by teaching them colors, letters, and numbers in a way that not only reaches, but actually stimulates their minds. In fact, studies have even shown that children who watched the show were more educationally advanced and performed better in school than those who did not. It's been proven over the years that puppets are a more than effective way to hold a child's mind long enough to teach them important things, such as letters, numbers, colors, social skills, and much, much more. To say that Sesame Street proves this to be true is a huge understatement. Characters like Big Bird, Elmo, Abby Cadabby, Grover, the Cookie Monster, Bert and Ernie, and so much more not only entertain children, but are characters they can relate to with their storylines and dialogue. And that's the gold standard for puppetry on children's television, especially when, like I mentioned earlier, the show's ultimate goal is to enhance the early education of inner-city toddlers. It's probably not all that surprising now that we know that Sesame Street was created with children from impoverished backgrounds in mind, but the show was far ahead of its time as far as representation goes. There are main and background characters, both human and puppet, of all different races and ethnicities, including Caucasian, African American, Middle Eastern, Hispanic and Latino, South Asian, and East Asian. When children see people who look just like them on TV, it gives them a greater sense of self-worth and understanding of their cultural and ethnic background. What's even better is that on Sesame Street, children of all different races and ethnicities are shown being kind to one another and playing together without a big thing being made out of it, as it sometimes even is today on television aimed at both children and adults. Once the diversity of cast members and audiences is considered and addressed, it's time to do the next best thing that makes Sesame Street so groundbreaking. We often forget that difficult realities and themes start to come up for children at a very young age, but this is one thing Sesame Street does not overlook. The show's made episodes that shed light on hot-button subject matters such as racism, natural disasters, pregnancy and childbirth, having divorced parents, and at one point even taught its young audience about death with the episode Farewell, Mr. Hooper. This opportunity came about when the actor who played corner store owner Mr. Hooper tragically died, and the creators had the option to either write him off the show, find a new actor to play him, or take a different approach. And we're all glad they went with the third option, as they handled the sensitive subject amazingly and in a way kids can understand, just like they do with all issues tackled on the show. In fact, it seems that throughout this century, many new Muppets have been created with all kinds of disabilities and tough situations to help the show get these concepts across to children and show them characters their own age who can relate to them. One of the best and first examples of this is probably Lily. She appeared in the 2011 Sesame Street special, Growing Hope Against Hunger, where she introduces herself to Elmo and explains that her family is struggling with food insecurity. In December 2018, Lily was introduced into a series of online Sesame Street videos in which she was given a story arc where she and her mother were evicted from their apartment, forcing them to stay with friends as part of the series' initiative on homelessness. One of my personal favorite characters on the show is Julia, who made her official debut in the 2015 digital storybook We're Amazing 1, 2, 3. The book was written by Leslie Kimmelman based on her own experiences having a child with autism. Julia was then made into an official Sesame Street character on April 10th, 2017. In her debut episode, Julia is shown to have a few quirks, such as preferring a specific paintbrush, not responding to her own name right away, and flying into an emotional state when she hears a loud siren go off. But Big Bird, Elmo, and Abby Cadabby quickly learn to accept her differences and become best friends with her. Little behind-the-scenes fun fact, Julia's puppet actually has 2 sets of arms, one of which is used to show Julia flapping her arms when she is overstimulated, a common habit of those on the autism spectrum. In 2019, we were introduced to Carly, a Muppet who is in foster care or lives with what they call her for now parents, while her mother deals with some grown-up problems, so to speak. Issues Carly deals with include missing her mom, feeling like the situation is her fault, and feeling as if she doesn't belong at her foster home, which are all common realities for children in the foster system. And there have been many other characters and story arcs introduced to Sesame Street to help kids learn about the many difficult realities going on in our world today in a way that is easy and simple for them to understand. Thank you all so much for watching. Sesame Street really is amazing and changes the lives of the kids who watch it. It's not just another Preschoolers TV show. And this isn't the first time I've talked about TV on my channel, and it won't be the last. As of recent, I have a playlist called Television, in which I've talked about Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Atypical, Glee, and Now Sesame Street are featured. There are also many other playlists for the many categories of essays I frequently post on my channel, and I've included links to them up on your screen. Check it out, and if you like my content, subscribe to my channel for more, and watch out for posts on my community tab, which I've recently unlocked.